Hi guys, welcome back to another Kanani and Weinman YouTube video. Today we're going to do another social skills lesson. We're going to be talking about voice volume. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard that term before, but it has to do with the type of volume we use. And often we sometimes don't always think about our volume when we just go through our daily life. Sometimes we just base it off of our feelings and emotions. So sometimes when we're feeling sad, we might be a little bit more quiet. But sometimes when we're really excited, we might be really, really loud and not really think about it. But what I'm wanting us to think about today in today's lesson is less about what we're feeling and more about what's happening around us, our setting. When you read a story, you often look for the characters, what happens throughout the story, but sometimes we forget to look about where is the story happening? Is it inside? Is it outside? Is it in a meadow? Is it in a classroom? Is it in a car? Is it in a laundromat? Is it in a bedroom, or is it in a hockey rink? Sometimes we need to think about where we are at and let that place tell us what voice volume we should have. So you can see this interesting sheet I have here, and it has numbers next to it with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And 0 is the low number, and that's connected to a quieter voice, and 5 is a high number, higher than 0 anyway, and it's connected to a louder voice. And so we kind of base our voice volume off of this scale. And if you can kind of see some of the pictures here, this is a picture of someone going like this. Shh. So that shows a quiet voice. Then a 1 looks like someone that's kind of whispering in their ear, and a 2 looks like someone that's maybe whispering but a little bit louder, maybe kind of keeping it a private conversation. A 3 is normally talking like I'm kind of talking now, kind of like a normal classroom voice. If you're raising your hand when the teacher says, can anyone answer this question, then you raise your hand, and then after you get called on, then you would talk in a voice kind of like this to share your answer. And then a 4 is kind of a little bit more of an outside voice. Maybe if you're in a gym cheering on your favorite team, or if you're outside on the playground running, then you might use that kind of voice. And then this 5 is kind of it's an outside voice, but it's kind of in the case of maybe more like in an emergency situation. If something bad is happening or you need to get somebody's attention, you would use more of a yelling or kind of a screaming kind of voice. But we don't normally use that kind of voice. So what I want to do is I'm going to see if you can get your discussion buddy again. So finding someone next to you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through these different voice volumes, and I'm going to name a setting or a place, and you're going to pick the voice that you think you should use for that setting or place, okay? So that's kind of what we're doing. So right now I'm going to have you pause the video and go get your discussion buddy. Go ahead and pause. And I'm going to get in a better seated position here. Okay. Well, I hope you have your discussion buddy with you so you can look at this scale with them. So now I'm going to give you some scenarios or some settings of places where you might be, and you're going to pick a voice volume to match that. Are you ready? Thumbs up if you're ready. Okay, I won't be able to see your thumbs up, but I'm trusting you're ready to go. All right. So let's go through them again. Whisper, quiet, library quiet, whisper, normal classroom voice, loud voice, outside voice, emergency voice. Let's think. Which one are you? So let's say you are in the car and you're driving to go to the grocery store. What voice volume are you going to use? Pause the video and discuss. Okay, I hope you're able to kind of discuss and come up with an idea. If you're in a car and you're driving to the grocery store, you probably should have a voice volume of either a 0 to 2. You really don't need much louder than that. Kind of a whisper, or maybe just a quiet time of no talking at all. That can be a good time just for quiet. But this is kind of the range. You should have a 0 to 2. So if your guess was right in that one, thumbs up. You got it right. All right. Let's think. Let's say you're in a public area, like, I don't know, maybe a laundromat. If you're in a laundromat, what kind of voice should you be using? Pause the video and discuss. Okay, well, I hope you're able to kind of consider some different ideas. But again, I would say that your voice should probably be between a 2 and maybe a 3. Because you're in a public setting and there might be a few people in there. And if everybody's using a 3 or a 4, it could get kind of noisy in there. So maybe more like a 2, between a 2 and a 3. So if your guess was in there, nice job. You got it right. Okay, a couple other areas. Let's think about in the hallway at school. Ooh, that can be a tricky one because there's a lot of people walking through the hallway sometimes at school. What voice volume should you use? Now I want you to think about things. Not only is there other people in the class or in the hallway, but there's going to also probably be people in their classrooms that you're going to be walking by. And what should your voice be when you're walking by other classrooms? Normally I'll let you pause the video and discuss on that one. Okay, well, I hope you're able to pause and come up with a good answer. Just so you know, you probably should have a 1 voice. You really don't need to be really talking at all when you're walking through the hallway because you're going from one place to another place. So your voice should probably be the most a 1. And if you have a question, you can always raise your hand as you're walking through the hallway with your teacher. Okay? So, more like a 0 or a 1. So if you were a guest in that area, nice job. Let's think. Let's think of another place. How about going to the Minnesota Vikings Stadium? Ooh, what voice volume should you use there? Let's think for a minute. Pause the video. Okay, well, I hope you're able to pause and kind of discuss and think about that. I would say that is where you can probably use a 3 and even up to a 4 if you're in the Minnesota Vikings Stadium, right? It's going to be loud and noisy. Everybody's going to be cheering and excited. That is a public area, but it's a public area where you can be a little louder and get excited about things. Let's think about a couple other ones where you might be. Let's say your classroom is going to the library at school. What should your voice volume be in the library? Let's pause the video and discuss. Well, I hope you paused and you're able to think about it. I would say you should be at a 0 or a 1 the most. Oftentimes probably a 0. Because there are going to be a lot of other people using the library, not only to read books quietly, but to do their work, or other things are happening, and it always is a quiet environment. Sometimes people might be doing some tests in there and different things, so it's an environment where there are a few more people than normal, but it's an environment that is expected that everybody is to be quiet when they're in there. It's a way to show respect to everybody else. Okay, let's think about at least 2 more. Let's say you are on the school bus. This can be a tricky one. What voice volume should you use? You're coming to the end of the school day, you have friends all around you, you want to talk about how the day went, or you want to have a kind of a fun conversation on the way home. What voice volume should you use? Let's think. Pause the video. Okay, now let's think about what's happening. When you're on a bus, the goal of that bus ride is for you to get from the school to home or from home to the school. And the bus driver, what do you think he's thinking? My guess is he's thinking, I want to be focused on where I'm driving so I know where I'm going, and I can make sure I'm being aware of the cars and the deer and whatever else is on the road when I'm driving. So he has to pay attention to the road and what's happening there. And so the best way for us is when we're on a bus is to use a 0 to 1, maybe a 2 on there. So if your guess was in that 1 to 2 range, you were probably on track. You should use a quieter voice in the bus to keep everybody safe, and especially so the bus driver can keep everybody safe by driving carefully, not being distracted by noises or people moving in and out of their seats, things like that. All right, let's think of one last one. Okay, let's say you are in the nurse's office. What kind of voice volume should you use there? That can be a tricky one too, because there's going to be people coming and going through the office. What kind of voice volume should you use in the nurse's office? Well, I hope you were able to think for a second and maybe even pause and discuss. You should probably use a 1 to 2 when you are in the nurse's office, so that the other people that are coming and going don't hear everything that's happening, and that you can have privacy and they can have privacy too. And maybe the last area we got to think about is the gym, the gymnasium. That can be a really loud, echoey place. What kind of voice should you use in there? I'm going to throw that one in real quick. Pause the video. Okay, I hope you paused, and I hope you guessed right between a 3 and a 4, because that's a good voice volume for the gym, because you're running and playing and it's exciting and everybody's kind of okay with it being a little bit noisier in there, so probably a 3 to 4. Well, I hope you think about not what you're feeling when you use your voice volume, but that you think about what's happening around you. It's so important to pay close attention to not what you're feeling, but to what's happening around you, so that you can make your voice sound how it should, so that you are being kind to others and that you are using a voice that is respectful to yourself and others. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.